Well, here I am again. It's doing art talk, and I'm gonna make it about the starfighter here. And I'm looking at it now through the camera, and it's really is brilliant. You know, in the right kind of light, it's phenomenal. It's okay to appreciate your own work. And just put my socks on again, you know, like a bit of comedic relief, I guess. I actually got dressed for this one. A lot of times in these videos, history propaganda or art talks or whatever, the bits and bytes videos, I just haven't really given a shit because I haven't really anybody to get dressed up for, and I used to like dressing up a lot more. Let's put my other sock on here. Hopefully I'll get through the first few minutes here and not get bored. You know, and when I'm doing these, if I'm in front of an audience, I'll end up talking about them in some way or form anyways. But so why did I paint this starfighter? Well, first of all, the image online, which I looked for quite a while, is just absolutely striking. And this is the second starfighter, or not starfighter, aircraft painting that I've done. And I first started it as another starfighter and as another image for a fellow mechanic. You know, I wanted to show my appreciation for his influence over my life, and he himself, being a Canadian Air Force veteran, lost his son to in an accident, and his wife is an artist as well. Getting down to specific details here. But some practical jokes were taken the wrong way, and I didn't appreciate that very much. We worked together at one point, as I was saying, twice actually. I met him at MHI, and this was originally intended for him because he worked in Germany, Battingen, Solingen, and he worked on starfighters, as far as I can tell. In his early days, so I figured it was something that he would appreciate and enjoy. Maybe I'll do another one. I don't know. We're not that close anymore. We still talk, but everybody leaves their own lives, right? So when I found this image, I very much like Kelly Johnson, and it takes a very special kind of person to be an aircraft designer or to be an automotive designer, and an eye for detail, introverted kind of personality, and very thoughtful. Because it all comes out in the end product. Everything is magic, so to speak. And I almost destroyed this painting, in a panic, because I wanted to see its final form being lacquered, because this is obviously done in 2021, and it took me, I don't know, 3 or 4 months to do, because of the thin layers to represent the crest of light through the atmosphere here in the early morning, and the foregrounds of the earth is just, again, this is all done in layers, and that the background is done first, and then concentration on the light through the atmosphere, and then the actual starfighter body of the aircraft first, and then the very details like the afterburner and whatnot. It's not as brilliant as it was, but I need someone to peel back the lacquer, right? And so I can do it again. I tried to do it a bit of restoration myself with some thinner, some mineral, not min- yeah, some mineral spirits, and but I and some Q-tips, a lot of Q-tips, but I just I don't have the patience for that. The very top layers, I could refine them all over again while I'm still alive, and I would like to do that because there are pictures of it when it was just finished, if not a little bit after, where the brilliance and the luminosity was a lot better. I took this, in process, right? This was, again, during COVID, 2021, and if I'm going to talk about like why the Starfighter, right? Well, it's one of my very favorite aircraft ever made, and it's one of in my opinion, one of the best interceptors ever invented. For it also used in fighter capacity, and also in photo reconnaissance and bombing. Supersonic bombing runs. That's what was their function. I'll pull this up here boot up the computer here. Let's see. Okay. Google. Okay, so the history, Lockheed F-104 Starfighter. This is off of Wikipedia. First air superiority fighter bomber, but originally intended to be an interceptor. As a day fighter, as one of the Century series of fighter aircraft in the USAF. Developed into an all-weather multi-role aircraft in the 1960s and produced by several other nations, seeing widespread service outside the United States. Okay, so after a series of interviews with Korean War fighter pilots in 1951, Kelly Johnson, then lead designer at Lockheed, opted to reverse the trend of ever larger and more complex fighters to produce a simple, lightweight aircraft with maximum altitude and climb performance. So basically, the missile and the man in it. Okay. Yeah. It was developed as a deterrent to the MiG-15, MiG-17, and it was in the Vietnam War. Besides the F-105, the Thud, So the Canadians up here, us Canucks, we actually produced a version of it by Canadair in Montreal. And modified naturally. Primarily used as ground attack aircraft despite being designed as an interceptor. And it served from 26th of May 1961 and retired in that's why Turkish Air Force in 1995. Let's see. Excuse me. Operational history. So into the middle of the 80s, basically. We're retired from service in 1987 with the remaining aircraft given to Turkey. Yeah. Now, there's apparently there's one at Base Borden. I don't remember seeing it when I was there last in the fall, but they're all over the place, and a lot of them are outside. And specifically, this starfighter is a German one. There's two. There's another similar photograph that with that configuration of attachments and equipment. That's usually it had to be German. I don't know exactly. I think it was some sort of targeting pod on that. And especially with when having those pylons installed, because we considered it a dirty configuration. Yeah. Okay. And I've been painting and drawing since my teen years, and I built models in my teen years and a little bit younger. So always had the tactile ability and aptitude. And again, I've spent a lot of my life in being a solitary kind of person. Yeah, highly independent to a fault. It took me a lot of work on myself to even want to trust other people because of the stuff that's happened to me. I have a lot in common with, I feel and identify more with orphans or people that have been adopted, or the disadvantage that I have anybody else in life. And so the symbolism here is obviously with the top speed, and then the XF 104 program with Glamorous Glenn. Let's see, forgetting his name. Chuck Yeager, right? Chuck Yeager was a college boy. He wasn't university educated, so he didn't go up, right? Basically, I identify more with people that have been poor and started with nothing than I do anybody else. And just thinking about it more, there's other symbology in this too, right? Well, looking like a cross, like this. So kind of representing my Christian background and beliefs. And I wanted to have that in my life. I don't wear a cross, right? I don't go around shoving my belief system down people's throats. I just wanted it to be an example and something to wake up to every day, because you know this room used to be my bedroom, right? My bed used to be here, and also like here where this where my desk is here, my live edge desk. And I wanted to wake up to this, and I did for a period of time. I always woke up to it, and it was meant to be inspiring, because you know naturally COVID was very hard for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people didn't survive. They harmed themselves. They committed suicide. They isolated themselves even further. And what I did instead was learn as much as I could through the internet, and I got to work. You know, it was painful, but you know the results are clear here. You know, this being accomplished and finished in 2020 at the very beginning. You know, all four of these paintings really. Not this one here. That's made from 2016, 2017, 2015, right around there. But you know, all four of these paintings done within that period of time, and you know they all share something. It's a secret. I'm sure you'll figure it out at some point. I'm not gonna put it on video. It's a shh, between us girls, you know. But you know, and in this time, and before I do this video, I was smoking a lot of marijuana to deal with anxiety and the issues of just modern life, you know, or contemporary life, because modern is a different period. But contemporary life after the internet, especially in the past like decade, has just turned absolutely sour. You know, it's old. You're beating the dead horse now with that. And you know, a lot of my influences having to do naturally from older generations, including those who grew up in the 70s or are working in those are their young years, the 70s and 80s. So I'll bring this in closer, or yeah, let's take this in closer. I'll give you some more details. You see there's the mongoose from yesterday in a bit better light. Now again, this is lacquered, and there's finer details. And it's got a bit of hair in there and whatnot that I can't avoid. And the afterburner used to be better defined. And the light here in here and whatnot used to be a bit more brilliant, but I can change that with some help. You see how the old school way here, you know, here, classical painting with glazings and overlaps, that took a lot of effort in the blending and stuff like that, and then the sharp line of the differentiation between the earth and the clouds and the atmosphere, and then the bleed over of the light and how it changes, and then down further and further and further with more and more detail as you get closer into the foreground, creating the illusion. And as you can tell, like through the technique, this was done like this to try and echo the atmosphere itself with the brushwork, which also helps create the illusion, like in holograms. Now, I took this painting with me to Kelowna 2 years ago now, in 2021, in the do or die scenario, because I wanted to have something with me, and honestly, I wanted to give it to Barry and Kelowna Flightcraft, because after I found out that they were doing this museum, this center of excellence thing with the mosquito, the tempest, and the DC-3, and then the Convair, the CD-580. But the lady in charge of it was like, "Oh no, we already have an artist. Thank you. It doesn't fit," sort of deal. What we're after, and so I'm like, okay, whatever. Right. I remember doing the presentation in the front office there, at where the secretary sits. Yeah, that's that. That's okay. I still enjoy it. It has a place where it is appreciated. What else can I say about this, other than, okay, so like the materials, this is a made canvas, right? A very nice one, actually. It's not a manufactured one. And the colors used, like a lot of cobalt blue, and one of the tubes of paint that I used a whole lot of, and I actually finished it, was a tube from my mother. I don't remember the brand, but it was a Survivor from the 1970s. So the very pigment itself, I can't find it. I don't know. You'd have to take a sample or something, because it's not a Grumbacher or a Winsor and Newton, which are my usual paints. And that's what makes it irreplaceable, is a time and place, and say the essence and the product of something of a different era. It's more tactile, and less digital, because it's amazing what these people did and accomplished with the tools that they had, and how easy it is for us to do what we do now, and to accomplish something similar. Like we have 3D scanners and whatnot. It's just absolutely mind-blowing how much the technology has changed, and how stupid we've become, because of this changeover period and this adaptation to the technology, right? So that we can do more with less, so to speak. And I'm not really on board with that. I want to use my head, because I've made so much effort to increase my brain power and my personhood, and status, and relevance. And I, at times, just like this starfighter, I feel like an artifact of the past, and that's the truth of the matter. Yeah, okay, so this is a fairly long one, 25 minutes. And I feel it's warranted, Gabe. So, no, okay, not no, Gabe. Oh, goodness. Okay. Because that nuke is right beside it. And, nuclear capability. So there's the delivery. That's the result. Not done in succession, and then I don't know what else. And then of course the lightning, right beside it. I usually have the lightning and the nuke up here on the wall in a triptych with Peerless over here. All these are like pinnacle moments. Again, I try to create icons and something, again, with a bit of propaganda artist mentality, in that it's an image that should be immediately communicable, and then sparks a conversation amongst people, an interactive, right? Well, I'm not there, at least this aspect of me is preserved and sticks around, because I don't have any children. My family is fractured, and ever much so after COVID. And it's especially after my grandmother passed away. The last of that generation, basically. It's just my family's on both sides, all over the place, and it's not that I feel isolated from them. It's just that. Because of the expenses of the modern era, that the expense and the effort required has altered our behavior, and the instantaneous nature of the technology has again altered our behavior. And the family get-togethers don't happen that much, and even the people that I used to be friends with are few and far between, or I don't feel connected to them anymore. Again, it takes effort, and in the rubrics, in my like, just by my interpretation, the evaluation of what a friendship is, and of how much value a friendship has, or relationships have, has diminished greatly. And so I sit here talking to the internet, basically, in the hopes that I'll actually be heard by someone, and that my art doesn't get burned or thrown away, or sold for basically nothing, because it's worth that much more. And I just grew up in a different era. And maybe one day I'll have one of these aircraft, and that would be a real treat. That'd be something.